Welcome to Intuitive Flow. I'm your host, Mikaela Filar, intuitive energetic healer, medium, entrepreneur, and mindset mentor with a mission to help you step into your fullest potential by giving you the tools to rid yourself of limiting beliefs, love yourself unconditionally, and create the reality that you dream of living. It is time to transform your mindset, get unstuck, and step into the highest frequency version of yourself who has unshakable confidence. I am even answering your juiciest questions regarding all things intuition, manifestation, personal development, self-love, self-image, and helping you work through your dilemmas, intuitively guiding you to expand your mindset and level up in life. So turn up the volume and get excited for this intuitive flow. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Intuitive Flow with Mikaela Filar. We are getting into episode 3 of the mini series, The Glow Down, where I'm taking you through my life and business and all the transitions that got me to where I am today as we close this chapter and enter into the new chapter of me being a trained intuitive on Team Alley. In today's episode, I'm really excited because we are diving into self-love and self-image, which if you guys don't know this already, which if you're here and you've been here for a minute, you definitely do, that they are the key to thriving in life. And when it comes to this, when it comes to this work, as you are going through it, you might notice that there are versions of you who don't exist anymore, or versions of you who you're deciding to leave in the past, but also being so appreciative for how far they have gotten you up until this point. There are versions of me that no longer exist, and I thank God for that. But letting them go in the moment sometimes was some of the most painful, but also liberating, expansive work of my life. So I want to talk a little bit about identity deaths, often invisible but deeply emotional moments where you have to let go of one version of yourself in order to step into the next version of yourself. Sometimes it can feel really lonely, it can feel really isolating, especially for women who have spent, or people, I should say, who have spent their lives performing for approval or survival. I want to go over again the source definition of self-love and self-image. Self-love is the ability to prioritize yourself and put yourself first. And self-image is how you perceive yourself and how you perceive others see you. Okay. Self-love is not just bubble baths and affirmations and facials. It's putting yourself first. It's doing what you have to do in order to be the best version of yourself. It's choosing yourself, even if it makes other people feel uncomfortable. It's being willing to look in the mirror and say, this version of me got me here, but she is not who I'm becoming. I want to talk about how rewriting your self-image is spiritual, it's emotional, it's cellular, because you can literally, like, once you start to change the way that you feel about yourself and the way that you see yourself from the inside, that literally changes the cells in your body, and it changes the way that you look physically. And that's why this is called a glow up. When people glow up, when people invest in themselves, when people put themselves first, what happens? They glow the fuck up, which is why self-image work is so important. And sometimes people do self-image work and they don't even realize it. But I want to share some of my own identity deaths and some real life stories to help you guys if you are going through maybe an identity death of your own. So the first one, I mean, there have been, like I said, so many different versions of me. I feel like I've lived 30 plus lives in this one lifetime, but I want to take it back to just the most impactful so far that got me to where I am today in this transition period that I'm in, which was my transition from network marketing to going out on my own and building my business as an intuitive energy healer. My identity was wrapped up in my network marketing business. Like, I was known as that girl, and I was praised for being that girl, and I was recognized for being that girl. And when I was getting all of this recognition, it made me feel successful, made me feel really good about myself. But then what happens is when we put those things, that praise, that validation up on a pedestal, and we make it mean something about us, then what happens when that goes away? You don't feel as good as you did when you had it coming in, right? So what happened is I had built my network marketing business and I made it to the top 2% of the company, which is something that not a lot of people do. And when I was doing that, my business was thriving and I was getting all of this recognition and all of the gifts, and I was traveling and all the things, and I felt really, really good about myself. And then when things started to slow down, when my team started to quit, when my numbers weren't looking the same, I found myself being so critical of myself and not being happy, not being fulfilled. And that's because when I started my business, it was coming from such an authentic place. It was coming from a place of, I love these products and I want to share them. And then it became about the numbers and how much I was making. And when when that shifted, that's when things didn't get that, it wasn't fun anymore. Okay. I took the fun out of it because what I love to do is help other people. But then I realized that my entire income relied on me selling a product that, yes, made a difference. And also, like, I got to the point where I wasn't fully rooted in what I was sharing. And I felt like it was very forced and it wasn't coming off as authentic anymore. And that's when everything started to kind of spiral. And I became so burnt out because I was working insane hours and I was glued to my phone and I had no boundaries. And I was constantly basically like begging people to join my team. And it was disgusting. Like, looking back on it, begging people to buy products so that I could hit my goal for the month. It was something that just felt so gross to me. And I'm not like, bagging on network marketing, but like for me, it just like was not it. It just did not feel aligned anymore. Whereas when I started, it felt aligned. And then that changed very quickly. Well, I lasted like 2.5 years before I started to feel this way. And the choice to burn that all to the ground and just let it go was not easy. And it was me letting go of the version of me that I had to be in order to get there. The one who said yes to everything, the one who broke her boundaries to make a sale, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it, and who like almost became somebody who I wasn't. I didn't feel like it wasn't an authentic me, right? And I had to let go of that person, and I had to step into this new version of me, but I didn't even know who that version was. Like, once I let go of my business, I had this like identity crisis of like, okay, well, now what? Right now, who am I? Now, what do I do? Now, how do I help people? I've always known since I was young, I've always known that I was going to help a million, bajillion people, but I just didn't know how. And I truly did think that network marketing was it. But then obviously things changed. And then I was in this whole crisis where I just didn't even know what I was going to do, didn't know what my purpose was, etc. And I didn't even find this work until a year after this whole thing. So I basically felt like I was spiraling for a year. And by the end of that year, I was so destroyed on the inside. And I had was it during this time that I was in network marketing, and things were still doing well. I was in a relationship. I had ended that relationship, and that was also an identity crisis of, okay, now I'm single, and I was also clinging on to this timeline of like, oh my gosh, I have to be engaged or at least have a boyfriend by the time I'm 29. And I was 29 turning 30. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be 30. Like my biological clock is ticking, blah, blah, blah. And you guys, looking back on that, like I just remember being so stressed, and being stressed about the situation isn't going to make the situation any better. It's better if you can just learn to love exactly where you are and understand that you aren't with the person that you, or maybe if you're like, maybe if you're single and you're in your 30s, like understanding that that's for a reason. And once you can fall truly in love with yourself and start treating yourself the way that you want to be treated, that's when things are going to shift for you. When you become the woman who is your dream person's dream person, that's when you're going to attract your dream person. In fact, when you decide that you are so good being fucking alone, you don't even want a significant other, that's when they're going to plop right into your lap. That's what happened to me. Like, I literally was telling my girlfriend 2 hours before I met Bryson, I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm totally not dating anybody. I'm totally fine, blah, blah, blah. And then 2 days or 2 hours, sorry, not days, not years, 2 days, or I mean hours. Oh my gosh. Later, I met Bryson. So sometimes that's just the way that it works. Don't shoot the messenger. But I had to release all of these versions of me. And the versions of me that got me there were great. And I'm very grateful for them, is what I meant to say. But I had to let them go. And that wasn't an easy process. But that's what I had to do in order to put myself first and prioritize myself and not settle, because I could have stayed. I could have made it work. I could have continued to grind. I could have, worked my way back up and in business and rebuilt the team. But I decided that I didn't want to rebuild something only for maybe it possibly, like, I could possibly lose it all over again. Like, that's the way network marketing works. If you don't have a team and your team isn't performing, then your business doesn't do as well. Whereas when I started working for myself, obviously my success was um, rep- uh, dependent on if I did the work that I needed to do. So it was just a big shift, a very necessary shift for me. And it was terrifying to walk away from the relationship that I didn't feel was fully aligned, to walk away from the business that I didn't feel fully aligned in anymore, to step into the unknown for a year, to not know what I was going to do. And then what did I do? I promised myself that I was going to put myself first, prioritize myself, not date anybody, not talk to any men. And then what did I do? 4 months, 5 months later, I got back into another relationship. And I mean, if you guys have been here for a minute, you know how that went. Basically, huge reflection. And it was the reflection was that I need to put myself first and actually commit to myself and do what I say that I'm going to do. Because how can you expect somebody to commit to you if you are not committing to yourself and committing to the things that you say that you're going to do? It's just not the way that things are going to work out, and you're going to end up getting hurt. So learn how to prioritize yourself, learn how to commit to yourself, learn how to put yourself first, learn how to treat yourself the way you desire to be treated, learn how to be 1000% good all by yourself. Because if you're not going to end up getting what you want. You're going to continue to get lessons. If this is with dating, you're going to continue to get those lessons that you don't want anymore at all. And if you're sitting there, I just had this like download too. If you're sitting there and you are, let's say, talking to somebody, you're in the talking phases of somebody new, and you're listening to this and you just had the question in your head of, is this another lesson? Like, is this person another lesson? Then guess what? It is. Let me just solve the problem for you right now before you start spiraling. It is. And that's great. because you can now ask yourself, what's the lesson that I'm meant to learn? What have I not healed yet? What do I need to continue to work on? And then let that shit go. Continue to work on yourself. When the person that is your person, like the whole when you know thing, that is true, because you're not going to feel all fucking elated about meeting this person. You're going to feel so neutral. This was like the craziest revelation, you know what I'm trying to say, that I had when I started dating Bryson. I was like, I feel so neutral about this. Like, I've never felt like this in a relationship before. I'm not super elated. I don't have him up on this like pedestal. I'm not making it mean anything about me because I'm so fucking good with myself. I'm so good with being by myself. I don't feel like I need him in order to complete me. I don't need him to make me happy, right? We did 6 months long distance. Like, yeah, we went over to each other's houses every other weekend, and like most of the time, sometimes we went weeks without seeing each other, which is fine. And like, I didn't spiral in between those times. I wasn't constantly on the phone with him. I wasn't constantly checking my phone to see if he texted me, right? Like, it was just this neutral, good feeling. And to step into that version of myself and to release the version of myself who had an anxious, disorganized attachment style, right? We went over attachment styles a few episodes back. If you missed that one, I definitely recommend going back to that episode and learning all about detachment styles. If you missed that episode, it was episode 107. So go back and listen to that on attachment styles. It is so good. But I digress. Going back into this, if you are in this phase of your life where you are wanting to attract a romantic partner who prioritizes you and puts you first and makes you feel like the hottest babe that's ever walked planet Earth, then you've got to look inward. You've got to do the work that it's going to take to become your dream person's dream person. You've got to start treating yourself how you desire to be treated. That's how you're going to attract the person that you want to attract. It's when you least expect it too that it's going to come, and it's going to be so amazing. I want you to ask yourself, are you still performing? And like, as a person, do you still have an identity that you've outgrown, but you're keeping just because it's familiar? Ask yourself that question. Is there parts of your life or things that you're doing currently that you feel like it's time to let go of? I want you to ask yourself that. How I became the version of myself who didn't people please anymore, who always prioritized herself, who always put herself first, was by completely moving 2 hours away to Costa Mesa. You guys know this story. And locking myself away and doing the things that I said that I was going to do a year before that. And it wasn't until I actually became that version of me and let go of that old version of me, the old version of me who partied all the time, the old version of me who constantly people pleased, the old version of me who said yes to things that I didn't want to say yes to, that I actually wanted to say no to. Like, the moment that I stopped doing that was the moment that everything changed and shifted. So if you're still doing that in your life, how can you begin to start showing up for yourself a little bit different? It's not for anybody else, it's for you. Now, I want to also like talk about the identity shifts that this podcast has made. I mean, when I started this podcast, I had no idea what it was going to be and how it was going to play out. But I mean, I started it off, it was Chats with Your Self-Worth BFF. And then somewhere in the midst of it, I decided to change the name to Intuitive Flow with Mikaela Filar. And it just feels so much more like me. But I had to, again, I felt like even with that, I was constantly stepping into this like new version of me. And you guys, I am always shifting. Like I am always quantum leaping into a new version of me. And I'm going to give you guys a fun little tool to do to take away to step into a new version of yourself as well at the end of this podcast. So stay with me. But you have a choice every day. Like life is full of choices, and your choices are what create your reality. So if you want a different reality, you've got to make the choices that the higher version of you would make in order to create the reality that you want to create. When I got the call, like my most recent identity death has to be when I got the call to join Team Allie, my immediate brain thought goes, well, that means that I'm not going to have to do it all myself anymore. And I realize that I have this feeling that I have to do it all myself, and that I have to be at the forefront of what I'm doing. And this opportunity with Team Allie allows me to be seen as an authority in the space. It gives me everything that I'm working towards, anyways, right away. And it's also allowing me to be a part of something so much bigger than just if I was to do this alone, because I am joining a team of people who have the same mission as I do. And that is so, so special. And so I'm releasing this old version of me who feels like she has to do everything on her own. And I just know that it's going to be so freaking good. And I want you to ask yourself, like, are you holding on to things or versions of yourself that are holding you back? Because if I would have allowed no, I can't join because I have to do this all myself, that would have held me back. Intuitively, I know this. So, with that being said, keep that in mind. Like sometimes we hold on to things because we're comfortable, but the reality of the situation is that it's holding you back. So, the tool that I want to give you guys today is creating the higher self character. I want you to think of like Superwoman, right? Or Superman, and how they have like the secret identity. I want you to create a secret identity that is the version of you who you are desiring to be. What kind of clothes do they wear? What's their confidence like? What do they do for work? What do they do for fun? What are their hobbies? What kind of bank account do they have? What are their spending habits? Uh, what do they invest in? What is their romantic partner like? Like literally everything. Where do they live? Anything. Describe this person to a T. Get really clear on who they are. And then every single day from here on out, you're going to ask yourself, would my higher self do this? That is how I have quantum leaped the amount of times that I've had in the last 3 years. Each day I'm asking myself, would my higher self do this? And I'm letting go of things that are not serving me. I'm letting go of versions of myself that I know are holding me back. I'm taking the actions that are necessary in order to become the version of myself that I know that I am capable of being, because you guys, source, God, universe, whatever word best resonates with you, would not put a desire on your heart if it were not possible for you. If you want something, go fucking get it. The only person that's in your way is you. Here are a few things that really helped me rebuild my self-image. I want you guys to go into the show notes below and download my free cord cutting meditation and just start cutting cords to anyone that you are holding on to, anyone that you are connected or corded into that you feel it's time to let go of, because that was huge for me. Like, you can do a cord cutting meditation on past versions of yourself. You can do this for exes. You can do this for family members, whatever it is that you feel like you need to cleanse from your energy and cut the cords on. this meditation will definitely help. So I'll put it in the show notes below for you. Next is let go of external validation. You do not need any type of approval or validation from outside of yourself. The moment that you can get that from yourself, you win. Asking yourself, using that blueprint and asking yourself if your higher self would do this. Obviously, intuition and using intuition to guide you towards what's next, doing what feels right and what's best for you. Speaking to yourself like somebody that you're falling in love with. So stop being so mean, hush that inner critic, and make peace with being misunderstood. Because not everyone understood me when I decided to start this business. Not everyone understood why I was moving 2 hours south, even though I had no clue how I was going to pay my rent. I just did it and everything made sense and was perfect for me. And I just don't want you to allow anything external of you to be holding you back from your greatest potential. Self-love isn't just who you are in your best moments. It's how you hold yourself during the death of who you used to be. It's choosing to trust that what's falling away is clearing the path to something better than you can ever imagine. I want you to ask yourself, what version of me am I still holding on to because it feels safe? What mask am I ready to take off, even if it scares you? And who do you really want to be, even if no one understands? I hope this episode was helpful, and I hope that you decide to step into the version of you that is living their best life and living the reality that you are desiring to live. Let go of the versions of you who are not serving you, and prioritize yourself and treat yourself the way you desire to be treated. I love you. I appreciate you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. If you like this episode, make sure you screenshot it, share it to your story or to a friend. Tag me. I love to repost you guys. I love hearing about what you thought about the episodes. We'll see you next week. Bye.